Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez accusing people of using racist language for calling the increase of migrants at the border what it is, which is a surge.
Anyone who's using the term surge around you consciously is trying to invoke a militaristic frame. This is not a surge. These are children, and they are not insurgents, and we are not being invaded, which, by the way, is a white supremacist idea, philosophy.
Our next guest has seen the surge with his own eyes and says the Congresswoman is wrong. Really? Senior writer for townhall.com, Julio Rosas, joins us now. Julio, is that white supremacist language, the word surge?
Well, look, Brian, to start things off, I'm no fan of white supremacists, and white supremacists aren't fans of me because, hello, I got brown skin over here. But no, this is absolutely a surge, and it's not racist to call it that. I mean, the numbers that I saw just all last week is just absolutely staggering in the amount of people that are illegally crossing and turning themselves over to Border Patrol. I mean, and yes, I'm well aware that there are kids there. I was there firsthand and seen them, and often they were by themselves. And so this is a surge, and one of the things that's kind of disturbing about it is that it's been happening a lot sooner than when the surges typically happen, which is around April and May. And so we're going to see what the apprehension numbers are, but there are estimates that we're going to be over 150,000 apprehensions. And of course, that's just the number of people who wanted, for the most part, wanted to be caught.
Right, and we see how close these cots are together. We see how these people, these young children are right now, right on top of each other. We know we're in a pandemic. We did not have to allow unaccompanied minors to stay. We were flying them back. Joe Biden changed that as President of the United States. But AOC, who is the spiritual leader of the left, had a different tone in 2019 when things weren't even as bad as they are now. Listen.
No child should ever be separated from their parent. No child should ever be taken from their family. No woman should ever be locked up in a pen when they have done no harm to another human being. They should be given water. They should be given basic access to human rights.
Right. So she made up the last half as if the people were drinking out of toilet bowls and said they were locked up. They're not locked up. They were put in facilities that were there for a small number of people, but they were overwhelmed at the time. This is worse, and her tone's changed. Did it surprise you?
No, not at all. And really, Congresswoman is not alone in this, but she really is kind of the prime example of Democrats and some people in the media claiming that they care about these migrants, care about the conditions that they're in when it was under President Trump, and now obviously that their tune has changed because this is now a Democratic administration. And look, it's not like she doesn't know where Texas is. She was just in the state right after the winter storms that passed through. And so she knows where the state is, and she knows where these facilities are, and yet she hasn't made the effort to come down here. And like I said, she's not alone in this, and the hypocrisy is absolutely astounding.
Right, that's why you give Congressman Cuellar, a Democrat, and other Democrats, Democratic mayors say, I just want to solve the problem. I really don't want to score political points. She did come out yesterday and say, this is inhumane, unacceptable, horrifying conditions of children in CBP custody. But it's not CBP's problem. The problem is the policies that send these kids here. And right now, there's over 18,000. Are you going back real quick?
I suspect I'll be going back shortly because this is a crisis and there is a surge.
Right, and there's no end to it, even if the president chooses to ignore it. Julio Rosas, thanks so much.